Hey, how you doing? Thanks for coming. Today we're going to look at a video titled Top 50 AFL Marks of All Time. AFL is Aussie Rules football. I assume it's Australian Football League. I think that's what AFL is. And earlier, in a previous video, we took a look at half of this video because it lists the top 50. In the previous video, we looked at 50 through 26. In this one, we're going to look at 25 through 1, and it is the top 50 AFL marks. If you're familiar with this game, you know what a mark is. If you're not familiar with it, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, a mark is essentially a pass from one teammate to another, but it's a kick. It's a kick that has to travel at least 15 meters and be caught by a teammate, and where that teammate catches the ball, that's the mark, and he will have a free kick from there. That's basically, I think, what it is. I'm sure there are nuances I'm not aware of, but it's a kick, 15 meters minimum, and the receiving teammate has to have possession for it to count. Now, it's an incredible thing. These are the spectacular marks, which are called speckies, I believe, and they are the top 50 AFL marks of all time according to a YouTube channel called Extraverse. So let's take a look. And by the way, if you feel like it, no pressure, but you can like and subscribe or comment. That would be appreciated. Okay, let's take a look here. (1972). Is that a torpedo kick? It looked like maybe.
Evans' kick up. Magnificent mark from Trevor Barker. He took one like that against Hawthorn in the goal square, which we didn't see.
I need a mark inside 50. This is it, last roll of the dice. Fremantle was balled up.
Oh man, you know, so much. Things have to be timed so perfectly. So many things have to come together for it to work. There's a lot of guys around.
Magnificent stuff, isn't it?
Great play by Peter Dacos. Is kicked to half forward. Starcevic.
Oh man. You know,
What a mark.
you know, I was just wondering if you know the game, from up there, they're falling quite a ways, and that guy looked like he was, you know, could have fallen straight on his head. I mean, I'm sure there are injuries to this game, but I'm wondering how many injuries take place that are directly related to this play, this kind of mark, because, you know, it's like falling from like 6 feet in the air, sometimes straight on your back or something. It's brutal.
You get one or two out the other side. They seem to be doing it comfortably until they kick it out of bounds.
Oh man!
With another screamer. We said he'd get
He
one
just
half
went
time
up
and he did.
high.
Have a look at this.
Oh boy, that might be the best of them that he's taken this year.
I don't want to pause too much. But it's incredible.
At the moment, boys.
I will pause because look at that. You know, that's he kind of came in from the side. He kind of looked like he was kind of, instead of from directly behind, he came in from the side. And if you watch it again, it's like he's essentially like, it would not be out of place doing a long jump in track and field. He's just like, you know, he takes off and, you know, the ball's here. So he takes off and the momentum is here and he gets kind of stopped here because the ball's there and he runs into the other guys here. But had those guys not been there, it would have just been like a 20-foot long jump where he happened to catch a ball in the middle of it. I'm gonna run down like in track, run down the runway, take off, land in the sand, 25 feet down, and in the middle, just toss me a ball, I'll catch it. Because they're just, he's just flying, he's just soaring, man.
Look at that.
Robertson.
By the way, I'm proposing that as a new Olympic sport, the ball catching long jump competition.
Kicking up toward the full forward zone. Edwards trying to force his way through.
Is that a knee to the head? God.
Kick long, Wayne Carey. He puts
That's another one kind of coming from the side more than the back.
The Winston overhead special. The big run, a big launch, and a big grab.
He's about 50 metres out. Certainly won't kick a goal. Mackay's there.
Wow.
Zasto.
Oh, man. Man.
Through the traffic, Shattuck won that ball, and in long we go.
Oh, see, that's the one from the complete different direction.
What an absolute beauty! That is unbelievable.
That looks like American football kind
High
of play.
ball, not going to be a goal. Big.
See, I don't quite understand what happens then. He caught the ball at the goal line. So what does he have to do now to score? So I think to score you have to kick. Does he? I mean, I don't really know. This is something I need to find out.
What a specking! Sensational, man! Oh, go and beat that for the rest of the year.
Haven't had enough yet. Tip it. Burton!
Oh!
That's one of the marks of the century! Burton's
Unbelievable.
back big time!
That is just
To time that perfectly.
unbelievable leap. He just jumped on top of the pack and then got the second lift. He's come from 30
Oh, yeah, the
metres
second
away.
lift, yeah.
The crowd will enjoy the replay. He's jumped on the...
To get that lift, you gotta get high on your own, which is amazing.
Buckman's shoulders, Tippett and Cruiser in front of them, and then got the lift. That is classic Birdman.
Kicks inside the 50. Thompson.
Oh, man.
Well, that was sitting up there, Gary, and it was like a half volley outside off stump saying, smack me to the boundary. They were stationary.
You know, on that one, you could see him pull his knee up real high, it looked like, because he's got to get it high to get on the shoulder. And I don't think you can use your arms or your hands to push off. It's got to be all with your legs. That's impressive.
They were caught underneath it.
Oh, that's
and
mark of the year.
That is a catch and a half.
That is mark of the year, Edward.
Listen to
A yard or so.
Gives it his best.
That is the mark of the year. I'll say now, no one will beat that.
Well, he's certainly setting Gary Ablett a task now. Have a look at that one.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Here's McDonald out wide on the left foot. Now they penetrate towards the goal line. Up goes Farmer!
I have a question. First of all, you know, I know there were no style points awarded for, you know, landing on your feet, but, you know, it's amazing that guy, you know, you can land on your feet, because when you're up there, you're getting twisted and knocked around, and when you come down on both feet and stay, that's, you know, no extra points, I'm sure, but it is, you know, they're not, most of them are taking pretty violent falls. But I have a question, you know, not every mark is this spectacular, right? Because like on that one, I saw a line of guys at the beginning, you know, in front, 2 or 3 guys, and they were completely fighting for position with each other. They're just fighting for position. And I assume whoever wins that battle is the one who often catches the ball, because those guys, I don't think those guys would be fighting so hard against each other to get position if they knew that every time there was going to be a guy coming flying in from on top of them and you know, and make the catch. So I'm guessing, you know, that marks are, I don't know how rare they are, but they can't be every time, right? I mean, you can tell me. These high flying marks can't be every time, because first of all, the everything required to do it can't happen. It's impossible to happen too often, I would think. And 2, the guys on the ground with their feet on the ground are fighting so hard, they must know that, you know, there's a good chance it'll be a battle between those guys, him and the other guy, to get the ball. and they're not just waiting there for some guy to come flying over the top of them like some sort of Greek god or something, you know. But watching a compilation, you don't really know how often these happen in actual gameplay.
That is unbelievable.
Have a look at this jump and run and mark. Oh, that would be Cadbury's mark of the year.
That is just all jump.
They come out of nowhere almost.
Chance for North. Up towards the edge of the goal square. Allison.
Oh man, that was. You could tell he really got a push, a lift.
So the doctor from 50 metres out. Monsters a high.
Let me see.
Will he go back and have a shot this time?
See this is something that I really need to find out, because it's like if this were an American football game, that would seem like, oh, touchdown. He crossed the goal line, made the catch, crossed the goal line. But this game, I don't know how that works. I think it's only you can only score from kicking. So when you catch a ball beyond what's the goal line, I don't know what this leads to. If it's a score or if it leads to a kick or okay.
What a grab. Now, did he put his hands also in the back to go up there, Jerry?
Clearances 7-4, the Kangaroos.
Oh man, he just.
What a magnificent.
That's how we're taught to catch in American football. Just with the hands, That was beautiful right there.
Following mark, bringing back memories of Phil the Snake Baker. And whilst that's going
Phil the Snake Baker?
The Hawthorn players have decided
I wish that was my name.
How good is
Lock his kick inside the 50.
Just in from London, the royal decree has it that this is definitely the mark of the year.
The
Haven't seen
royal
anybody
decree.
up that high for some time, Dennis. That is a cracker.
Has kicked 2 in the game so far. Driving ball forward.
Wow.
That is a contender.
I've never seen anyone get quite that high. Freaking standing
Here's
up.
Jeff Farmer on some bloke I know.
Feeds it back. Opportunity for Harvey. Goes down towards half-court. Look out!
Oh.
Revolt.
See that's what's interesting. My eye and my brain, that looks familiar because it looks like American football, because the guy running he's running in the same direction the ball's going instead of from behind. Like I've only seen a couple of these, so they must not be as common. And I can see why, because they look unbelievably dangerous, because like the guy's running into most likely a wall of 2 or 3 or 4 guys and having to look back over his shoulder at the ball. But like whenever I see this, I think, oh, it's like American football.
Remarkable.
He has turned it on in this third quarter.
Nick Revolt running with the flight of the football.
Running with the flight of the football. Yeah, exactly.
That was every bit as good as Jonathan Brown 2 seasons
That's
ago.
a courageous play.
It won't be.
Oh, man. That guy's tall to begin with, so he's way up
That was
there.
a beauty. It was his 10th of the night, so he's maintained his season's average. And the ricochets with Robinson. And where's Eddie? Walker's got the sit here.
Man.
What? Salima. Everyone's up with that one.
I reckon Essendon.
Is he wearing a headband, or did he sustain a head injury earlier in the game? I wouldn't be surprised if it's like some sort of bandage, because these guys don't look like the kind of guys who are going to come out unless their leg's broken or they're bleeding and can't stop the bleeding. I mean, these guys are going to... I wouldn't be surprised if this guy got, hit in the head, cut deep or not deep. He's like, no problem. Wrap me up and I'll be back in.
Supporters are cheering this.
That's the best for the year by a mile.
That's beautiful.
That was very, very high into the black sky.
Minch can hold it up.
Ablett's by himself.
Goes into the square. Lovely kick by Minch.
Wow.
Well, I don't know whether he should have
Wow.
I'd have to have another look at
He's
this.
hurt himself too.
That's like the most violent almost one I've seen. It looked like he was up and the guy below him twisted, which caused him to twist. He had to reach back with his left. Somehow it got into his right. Then he fell hard and awkwardly, so I don't know what that's all about.
This leap is just absolutely unbelievable. Watch this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Now, I don't agree that that's a mark.
there, that was a mark. He controlled it. He just hit the...
That's great to hear the announcers. One says it's not a mark, one says it is. You know, it comes down to, I guess, an official or a referee or a judge makes the call whether possession was obtained for long enough. But obviously, this is a judgment call because the two announcers disagreed. But that's incredible. I don't know if this guy was hurt or not. Man.
Ground that bounced out as he hit the ground. That was sensational.
Looks like he got up.
Lucas read it best. Wrong side for him. Hooks it back.
Wow.
Sensational.
He's taking the wind out of himself.
Yeah, I bet he's taking the wind out of himself. He landed on his back from like 6 feet in the air.
Saying, I might have lost the car.
That is it. That is it. Look.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
That is going
that's
to be
great.
on
That's great.
bars and
It looks like he almost overran it a bit and had to reach back for it, or maybe he was pushed around when he was in the air by the guy underneath. Either way, that's incredible.
that's going to be on pub walls for the next 100 years, that side-on shot.
The bigger the occasion, the better the result. 55 metres out. Good kick. Oh, what a mark!
That was a torpedo kick, I believe,
Mark of the year in the last round.
and a beautiful
Go
catch.
on, KB. What do you reckon?
I reckon it was
That is the
Hmm.
biggest leap since Modra 2 years ago.
And you called it that night, Romo's mark of the year.
He's
And
been trying for the whole year, Bruce, and he's got
Oh,
it in the
man.
last round. Have a look at that.
That's amazing. You know, before I forget, I want to say I heard the name Madra, and I've watched 3 or 4 of these Aussie Rules football videos, and and he's the second name I've heard more than once or twice. And the first one was Buddy Franklin, and so I'm guessing Buddy Franklin is a big-time player or was a big-time player. And the second name I've heard mentioned more than once is Madra. I don't know his first name, but so someone can let me know. Is he a big-time player? I would imagine so. There's one question I want to ask to you Aussie Rules fans out there, or players out there. It would be great because I've got a lot of unbelievably helpful comments from people who love this game, and rightly so, and I appreciate them taking the time to write. But I was just curious. There's a lot of guys on the field. I think it's 16 or 18 aside. This sort of play, I think it's a specky. Is everyone on the field capable of doing that? And some do it better than others. I mean, I'm sure some are known for it. But is it a skill? Is it a skill that every player on the field needs to be able to do at least to some level, even though they might not, be asked to do it very often? I'm sure there are certain guys that are the real stars of this play. Just like in the NBA, there were certain guys who were, everybody can dunk, but some can really dunk. And I'm sure these guys, there's, most of them can do it, but some guys can really do it. And I'm just wondering, is it a skill that you have to have, and an ability you have to have, no matter what position or what area of the field you're typically playing on? Because I would imagine they can all do it, because there aren't any guys out there who don't look like great athletes. But I would imagine some can do it quite a bit more often and in more difficult situations and more spectacularly. It's a great game. If you're new to that, you see it's a great game, and if you're not new to that, you see just how great a game it is. It's remarkable. Thanks for taking a look at this with me. I appreciate it very much. If you feel like it, if it's not a problem, no pressure. You could subscribe, like, and make a comment. Which one do you think was the best? You know, until those last few, I didn't know if these 50 were placed randomly from part 1 and part 2, or if it was like kind of a countdown from 50 to the best. But these last 5 or 6 make me think it's going from 50th best to top, because these last 5 or so seemed to be on another level. The other ones, they all looked great, but these seem to be even above that level, which is saying something. Okay, all right. Thanks for coming by. See you later.